The word Awen has survived for centuries not as a doctrine, but as a sound. It continues to live because it continues to be voiced. This is also why it can speak meaningfully within Masonry. For Masons know that spirit is not only in stone, but in sound. Not only in geometry, but in the spoken word. Hello and welcome to the Scottish Rite Journal podcast, an audio presentation of the Scottish Rite Journal, brought to you and published by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the world. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment on this article, and don't forget to hit the notifications bell. This week's article is Awen, The Breath That Inspires, by Brother Morgan P. Lorio, 32nd degree KCCH, read by Brother Matt Bowers, 32nd degree, and comes from the May-June 2026 issue of the Scottish Rite Journal. The Mabinogion, ancient Welsh lore collected in the 12th and 13th century, contains the notion that breath is magic. The Arthurian knight Sir Kai, for instance, had this peculiarity that his breath lasted 9 nights and 9 days underwater. It is said in the same work, all the dead trees and brushes in the plain he burnt with his breath down to the very ground. Interestingly, the Welsh word Awen means both breath and inspiration, specifically poetic inspiration, the way by which a bard sings truth into being. Its earliest appearance is in medieval manuscripts such as the Book of Taliesin. There Awen is invoked at the opening of poems, a reminder that the voice which follows is not the poet's alone, but comes from a breath from beyond. In the 18th and 19th centuries, Awen became central to the Druid revival. Ialo Morganwg's creation of the Gorsedd, the Welsh community of bards, placed Awen at the heart of modern Welsh ritual life. The three-rayed symbol was devised to embody the word visually, 3 descending lines of light. The familiar 3 rays or dots above, often explained as drops of Awen from the cauldron of the legendary enchantress Ceridwen, are a later addition from the modern British Neo-Druidic order of bards, ovates, and druids, not part of Ialo Morganwg's original design. Some druids also interpret these 3 rays or dot representations as solstices and equinox, anchoring the symbol in the rhythm of sun and season as well as in myth. The Gorsedd drew much from the lodge room in its ceremonial forms. Indeed, revival druids and speculative masons often moved in the same circles, both seeking to recover ancient wisdom for the modern age. The power of Awen has continued into recent times. In 1946, the future Queen Elizabeth II was ceremonially admitted into the Gorsedd at the National Eisteddfod. Significantly, she was received not as a bard, but as an ovate, the first grade in the Welsh system, which precedes ovate, bard, druid. The Welsh revivalists originally thought the name ovate derived from ovum, an egg, suggesting the beginning of life. In fact, however, ovates was the very word used by the Romans for the ancient druids who specialized in prophecy. Thus it remains, one of the primary roles of the ovates, alongside healing, is the gift of divination. The young Princess Elizabeth, later to become Supreme Governor of the Church of England, was robed in the traditional green of an ovate and welcomed among druids and poets, an image that captured centuries of speculation in a single tableau, demonstrating that Druidic and Christian belief systems can, in fact, be complementary. What gives Awen its peculiar strength is that it belongs to a wider family of sacred words tied to breath and spirit. In the Rigveda text of Hinduism, Vayu was the wind that sustains existence. In Greek, Avra meant both breeze and presence. In Latin, Ara was the divine emanation. In Hebrew, Ruach was both wind and spirit. In the New Testament, Pneuma carried the same dual sense. Old English Awen meant to be moved with awe or inspired. The Bosworth-Toller Dictionary defines Old English Awen as to inspire, to fill with awe. In all these cases, breath is the medium of spirit. Life begins with the first breath. Death comes with the last. To breathe is to live. To voice breath is to give shape to spirit. Unlike many sacred words, Awen is not merely said, but sounded. In bardic tradition, Ialo Morganwg's Bardus gives the sounding of Awen as the 3 vowels I-O-U. In some older transcriptions, this appears as I-O-W, since W was historically used as a vowel for U in Welsh orthography. The now familiar Awen is not found in Morganwg's Welsh collection Bardus itself, but is an English adaptation, widely used today though of more recent origin. Although later scholarship has shown that much of Bardus was Morganwg's own creation, it remains a text of immense influence. Its inventions have themselves become tradition, shaping centuries of ritual practice and symbolism. Each syllable is an exhalation of spirit. Physiologically, inspiration draws breath in while expiration sends it out. Yet in chant, these opposites join. To inhale is to receive life. To exhale is to give it voice. In Awen, inspiration and expiration flow together as one current of spirit. If the ancient Greek logos is the word, Awen is what comes before the word, the first stirring of desire, the yearning of spirit to speak. It is preverbal, pre-dual, a quiet upwelling before the thought takes form. The Kabbalists spoke of Ein Sof, or the boundless divine presence prior to the beginning of the creation of the universe, yearning to contract and create space. In the same sense, Awen is that first in-breath of creation itself. The chant of Awen naturally falls into a triadic pattern: 3 syllables, 3 rays, 3 inspirations. The Druidic revival made this visible in its emblem of the 3 rays. Masons know this triadic rhythm well. The craft is built upon 3 pillars: wisdom, strength, beauty. It works with 3 lights, 3 degrees, 3 knocks. To hear Awen sounded is to hear the same rhythm resounding from another source of tradition. Thus, what the Druids invoke as inspiration, the Masons recognize as light. Both are born upon the breath. Both are sounded into the world. Both are triads pointing beyond themselves. The word Awen has survived for centuries not as a doctrine, but as a sound. Breathed into the forest grove, at the Eisteddfod circle, and in modern Druid rites, it continues to live because it continues to be voiced. This is also why it can speak meaningfully within Masonry, for Masons know that spirit is not only in stone, but in sound, not only in geometry, but in the spoken word. The lodge, too, opens and closes with breath, with knocks, with words sounded into light.